Well, greetings from FlightQuest. Welcome back to my home simulator, X-Plane 12. Today, this is going to be part 5 of all things DME. And as you've seen, I've been flying a DME ARC that I created via Little Navmap. And we're going to do that again. Only this time, we're going to use the RMI indicator that points to the station, the East Texas VOR, and they cleared us for takeoff. Our clearance was to climb straight out, runway heading, then direct to East Texas VOR to intercept the 7 DME ARC around East Texas VOR. Looking ahead, we are going to go IFR, I think, and I don't see any traffic coming in. I tend to lean forward, so welcome to retirement. Cleared on the right. Again, you can see our pointer right here is already pointing to the station, and we're going to use that to fly direct to the VOR. I think I can leave that up like that. Yeah, let's do that. Have a better view of it. A lot of times these are kind of small, I just pop them out like that and get that same size on them. I've been trying to reduce the size of this one, but I haven't had any luck. Forgive my rambling. And there's the numbers, runway 24. We're going down the center line here. I'm only showing like 8 FPC frames per second right now. Something must be downloading in the background. I don't know. Well, let's see what happens here. Airspeed's alive. 40. Coming up on rotation. And let's shoot for our best rate. Positive rate. Alright, let's go flaps up. Let's do our climb. At this point, we're going to go direct to the VOR. I'm going to change my click on PFD. I'm going to click on wind, and I'm going to go to option 2. Just gives me the arrow of the direction and the speed. And then I'm going to go to back here. And we're going direct to the VOR. I'm going to put the pointer right on about 260. Let's see what we get. About 85 to 90. And as you see, here's our pointer. A little bit slow. Let's just put the nose down a little bit. And we're starting to go into the clouds. The winds are now 20 at altitude. Oh, wonderful. All right, there we're established in our climb. We're flying direct to the VOR. We are at 10.5 on the DME. Let's do our climb check. Mixtures are forward. Throttles are forward. Landing light, taxiway light is off. And flaps are up to 0. 10.3 for 7. Remember, there's our ball. Step on the bar. I'm going to go ahead and put up the side views. As you can see, we are IMC, both left and right. Although X-Plane has a little issue with the weather. For some reason, it doesn't go fully IFR until you get a little bit higher, so you see the ground. It's kind of weird. I'm not sure. It's because of the beta. All right, 9.8. I'm off course a little bit. Let's go back to the left to get that pointer on the nose. The winds are 3-1 are at... Now I don't have any wind data. 32 knots. Is that 32 knots? Let's see what else we got. Got to go back to wind. I guess. Wow, this is weird. Getting blown all over the place. There's 9.4. Again, we're going direct to the VOR. I don't fly this plane very much, so it's kind of seems like really unstable, but it might be the gusty conditions up here. Okay, here we go. Still at 85. Everything's in the green. 9.2 for 7. We'll do a right turn to approximately 340. We figured 90 degrees. We're going direct here to the VOR. And then that 90 degrees will put us on about, 330 to 334, or 340. We are totally IMC now. Feet coming up. We're at 8. We're coming in there. There's about 35. We're going to start to level off now for our 3,600 foot. There it is. 8.7, almost there. Airplane accelerates to about 100. Now bring the power back to about 2350, and then we're going to trim for level flight. 8.4. So much going on. Let's start getting this thing trimmed out. As you see, our RMI pointer is directly to the station. Shortly we will be making a right turn. I almost want to put the autopilot on, but nope, I'm going to hand fly this sucker. And we'll slowly get back up to 3,600 feet 8.1. Winds, well, still showing 380. I'm going to go back to option 2. That's just incredible. 7.9. Pointer is pointing to the station, East Texas VOR. It's a VOR. Looking for 3,600 feet. There's 7.7. I do have a wind that's going to push us into the course, so I might even just go 7.4 before, or 7.3 before I make that right turn. There's 7.5. In a no-wind situation, that's when I would make that right turn to 340. But I have a feeling the wind is going to push us into the course as we turn, or if we turned right on the money, we'd end up outside of the course. So there it is, 7.3, right turn coming in, standard rate. That's my standard. When that thing gets all the way over to about 30 degrees, or in there, that's our standard rate turn, right about 20. Let's get ourselves back up to altitude. As you see now, the pointer is starting to move to the left of the airplane, which will be on the left wing. We are right on 7.0 now. There's about 340 where we wanted to be. So that flying inside the arc a little bit further due to the headwind we had put us right on 7 DME. And you can see, since we're IFR, I'm going to put this up here to see that a little bit easier. I'm still a little bit low. The pointer is a little bit aft of the wing. So, and we have a crosswind now at 41 knots. So I'm going to do a drastic heading change here to get us back to 7 DME. And at the same time, I'm going to increase the power to get us up to there. So let's go to 310. I always try to keep it in 0.5, right? That was our goal. Still getting pushed out. We need a bigger correction here. I'm going to use about 300. 7.3. We're not going out any further. I can see on my unit here is quite a crosswind correction. Let's not let the wind push out. Well, we're at 7.2. Taking a little while to get back to 7.0. This is a challenging situation. There's 3,600 feet. We gotta take a little bit of power out, go to 2,400. And let's do our cruise checks. I have my course correction in to get back to 7 DME, which will cause the needle to be in front of the airplane. Get rid of the heading bug. And I'm going to take some of that correction out now. So we're going to go to a left turn. Excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant a right turn. Dyslexia. I heard 6 out of 3 people have that. Again, I want to push the needle away from me, so I'm flying away from it. And let's get that sucker back onto the left wing. We're at 6.9. But we're going to keep a pretty good correction in there due to the 40 knot crosswind that we have going on here. And now I'm hands-off flying. I got the airplane trimmed out. As you notice, the crosswind component is 40 at this altitude. The CDI, our RMI, is coming back to the wings. I'm going to keep it about 20 degrees ahead of the airplane to compensate for that crosswind. And let's just see if that helps out. So let's run this heading of the 310. Kind of like Kentucky windage, you know, everybody's mileage varies. here in a little while, we're going to have a direct headwind, and then we're going to have a crosswind from the right. So this is a challenge. I'm hand flying this sucker up. Altitude looks good. It's hovering in there. I'm going to take a little more power out. I probably need to be a little more aggressive with the power here at this point. There's 36, so let's go back to 24. 2350, 2400. CDI is now right on the wing, but we lost that wind correction angle. We are 7.1. So I'm going to turn into about 290. Maybe. Trying to hold 280. We're right on 7 DME. We are at 3,500 feet now. Jeez. You can see, I don't know if you can see that crosswind correction on there, because the winds are coming right across. So actually we have a quartering headwind, as you can see from right here. Come on. 6.9. Let me go away from the needle here to get that back on the wing. Too big of a wind correction angle. Losing altitude again. Let's bring some power back up. That'll help us climb back up. Coming back to 290. 6.8's looking good. That wind's going to push us back towards the course anyway. Let's do our cruise checks, okay? Fuel pump is on. Let's go ahead and lean this out. I'm just going to do this the old-fashioned way. Alright, we're at 6.8 at 3,600. Everything's looking pretty good. I can sit back and relax for just a couple seconds. I'm not really sure that that number is correct. CDI is pointing to the station, it's to the left. So we got a wind correction angle in there. We are at 6.8 DME, so that's been holding pretty steady with a, looks like about a 15-degree wind correction angle. I'll have to remember that for when we get on the other side of this arc. It's one of the reasons I made it so big is for practice days like this. The other days, the winds weren't so bad, and I usually just use real-time weather in X-Plane, and I accept what I get and I fly. So today I have some snow, some rain, some IFR. We're about -1 on the temperature. That means we're below freezing. You know what I should do here? And let me go ahead and put our pitot heat on. That's better. Indicator is on the left of the wing. We're looking good. We are at 7 DME. You can see both of these. The pointer down here. 3,900 feet. Ay, ay, ay. That's because we're starting to turn into a headwind. I'm going to go ahead and reduce the power. Come back down to 3,600. That's a product of me talking. Let's stay in the green arc. 7.1, a little slower airspeed as we descend. Again, these are real small turns, usually like 1 or 2 degrees all the way around. But when the winds are gusty like this, moving us back and forth left to right of the course, it's virtually impossible to run this thing smooth unless you have the autopilot going. But I do want to keep that correction in there. I'm going to go about 260, you know, that way. I ended up flying tangents on this arc already. There's 3,600 feet. Let's get our power back, 24. me off guard again. Seven DME once again. I get a whisk of my Coca-Cola over here. Here's Coca-Cola. .9. Back up to 3,600 feet. That's why I like to look at the other altimeter, because it doesn't look so bad compared to these numbers. 3540 is worse than 3520 here. We'll get her back. Well, we're still plus or minus 100 feet, huh? All right. Let's come in some more RPM, get us back up into 3,600 feet. CDI's to the left, we're at 6.8 DME. We're gonna hold that heading. Again, like I say, RMI. I don't know if you're able to see that, but it's always pointing to the station. So we're flying this constant radius around. I never said my YouTube flying is perfect, but I hope if you do watch that, you know, maybe there's something you can take away that you can put in your toolbox. And I like to take a lot of my real flying techniques and put them into the simulator. Flight Quest 40. 40 kind of stands for 40 years in aviation. I got my private pilot's license, I think maybe back 1982 or 84, 3520, a little more power. Let's get us back up to 36. 6.5 on the DME. Let's see what's going on here. We've got a little bit of a headwind, so now I don't need that wind correction angle. So let's put the pointer right on the left side of the indicator and fly back into the arc. That's what's really neat about having this direction. I can tell when it's exactly a headwind or a quartering headwind or so forth. 3,500. Let's get a little more power to get back up. Right now our GPS says we're at KISS and we're going to hotter. That would be the album KISS, the first album. Then we're going to their second album, which is Hotter Than Hell. Distance between the two of them, 1.3. CDI is a little bit to the behind the wing of the airplane, so we're going to make a little correction and get that back onto the wing. Right on the 90-degree indices here from our heading of about 250. It feels like it's taken forever to get around this arc, but this is really good. You know, just because we don't have the old instruments in front of us, now we're at 37, doesn't mean we give up our scan, because we can look at one area. To keep our scan going between the altitude, airspeed indicator, heading indicator, our pointing indicator, you know, the RMI indicator. Let's see what happens if I stop talking. Will I be able to fly this better? Not much more I can add to this other than trying to hit my numbers. We're right now at 6.7, so we're a little bit on the inside. And with the pointer to the aft of the, that means I'm working on an intercept from the inside. Generally, if the pointer's ahead of us, it's because we're on the outside, I think. Pretty close to 7, we're at 6.9. So, okay, so let's see if we put the pointer back on the wing here. Bit of a crosswind from the right, 3680, okay. Pointer is 7 DME 150, exactly 90 degrees. Now we're crossing hotter than hell, going to Dress to Kill. What's your favorite song by Kiss? What's your favorite song by Kiss when they wore all the clown makeup, as they called it? And what would be your favorite song they did when they didn't wear the makeup? I think the song Destroyer was one of my first favorite songs by Kiss when I was a kid. Okay, 3,500 feet, getting a little bit low, a little more power. Got a little bit of a crosswind from the right now, so...
Attention all aircraft. Altimeter 3007.
And feel free to refer to the chart. We can take a look at that again. A little bit of a crosswind. Pointer is about 10 degrees off the tail of the airplane. Get rid of that heading indicator. I know what my inbound course is going to be 070 for the approach. I'm going to put that on 070. And let's get the pointer back on the wing because we have a no wind. Got 37 knots in front of us, hitting us on the nose. We should be with the RMI indicator directly on this 90-degree indices. Keeping my scan going. It's very challenging. I mean, this is a great instrument workout, even though, like I said, we don't have the steam, these old analog instruments. You keep your scan going. Right here, I need a little bit of right rudder, maybe. Yeah, put that underneath there to make it a pyramid. Airspeed looks good. We're set. We're trimmed out. Check our altitude. Oh, we've got a little bit of a climb. Come back up to 3,600 feet. Wings are level. Indicator is on the left side of the wing, so our scan is going. Getting pretty close to Destroyer, getting pretty close to our inbound course, and we know we're going to do a circle to land. So in that point, I might come in here. Let me just check my approach plate. Go to Windows real quick and pull that up. Unicom is 122.7. Should be on the approach frequency. Now we're okay. I would say that was 122.7. Okay, RMI is behind us. Let's turn to it. 3,600 feet, looking pretty good. 6.3, I flew inside. Let's go ahead and fix that. I'm sure everybody was watching that. Wind is off of my right-hand side, so I need a bigger correction angle. I'm going to go back to 230. I am not perfect. I blew my altitude, my distance right there, but this is how it works. We're going to fly back towards the 7 DME mark, and notice we've got the winds are 37, approximately out of 250. 6.3, getting back to it. If we can get that taken care of before we get back to the inbound approach. Now we are going from Destroyer to rock and roll over. I'm going to take out some of that correction now. 6.5. No excuse from an ATP pilot and flight instructor. And we're back in the IMC conditions. .8, that's close enough. I'm going to bring the needle back down to the pointer of the airplane. And from here on out, let's try to keep it somewhat on the left side of the wing. Again, these are some of the little corrections, big corrections you might have to make in real windy situations, but obviously you wouldn't be discussing things and talking like things like this during your flight, so you'd have more time to catch some of those anomalies with the changing wind direction. 6.8, feeling pretty good now. A little embarrassed about that altitude. We have a crosswind from the right-hand side, so hence we have about 15 degrees tail to the aft of the airplane, aft of the wing. Airspeed looks good, altitude looks good, instruments are in the green. Bring that in a little bit closer. Oops. As you can see, the plane is right here. 6.7 on the DME. Now we just went higher, so let's bring some of the power out. Now with that crosswind, I'll never get back to 7 DME, so I could very well turn the simulator off and redo this and fly with more perfection to look more better. But I'm accepting this challenge. I'm telling I am not perfect. When I focus, I'm a lot better. 3,600 feet. I got to keep my scan going. Airspeed looks good. Instruments in the green. We're going to get ready to fly the approach. 6.8 on the DME. 3620, maybe a little more power. I don't want to go lower yet. Once we turn inbound, we can go down to 3,000. I'm going to hit the back button to bring that up. And I'm going to hit it back again to PDF and then get ready to hit our CDI for the GPS needle. I'm actually going to put that in now, because we're getting close. There's 7.1. Let's get the needle back on my left wing. I just wanted to get back there real quick, because I know the wind is going to blow me back in. So let's keep that. There we go. 7.1. 3,400 feet. That's how turbulent it is up here. God, I hope I don't sound good. 7.1. Winds are working on us from the right-hand side, pushing us back to the DME arc. I'm going to give myself a nice wind correction. Be aware that that tailwind will probably be working on us going inbound to the approach. There's 3,600 feet. And these angle bank changes are very extreme compared to the normal way I would fly this. 7.0, I'm going to come in now to about 170. See how quickly now we're at 3,400 feet? I've been batted around like this in real life. Okay, we're out of Love Gun going to Dynasty. I think Dynasty, they did that one without Macon. Or no, it was the next album after. Okay, I have about a 15-degree wind correction angle in there because the CDI is about 15 degrees aft of our left-hand wing. .9. More power now. Starting to turn into a tailwind. Cruise checks are done. We did brief the approach before, earlier, I believe, 1700. We'll be terminal on the GPS. Right there we're showing term. Then we'll go to LP plus V. We'll fly it down on that. Our circling altitude will be 1100 as we briefed earlier. Still have that wind correction angle in. As you see, the needle is, RMI needle is aft of the airplane, which is good. At this point, since I don't have that connected in there, I'm going to go ahead and hit flight plan. I'll do it over here, that way I can watch my instruments. And I'm going to go ahead and DOSTR. We're going to skip right over and we're going to go direct to that DOSTR. And we're going to hit enter to activate it. And there we go. We see the course is in there. Let me hit flight plan once again and that'll go away. Our RMI is still left of the wing. At this point, I'm going to start transitioning over to GPS to fly the approach inbound. Our inbound course was 070. I'm at 3,700 feet. Let's now I've got a quartering tailwind. 6.9. Still about 7 DME. I'm starting to transition over to GPS now. As you can see the airplane, let me move this up here a little bit. Right here, that's where we went direct to DOSTR. 7 DME. I'm going to make a little bit of a left turn back in. At this point, the RMI indicator will not be needed anymore. As you see, our GPS is taken over. We are terminal. And you can see on the indicator here, course is just in front of us. No need to identify everything. There we are at 3,600 feet. About 4 degrees in there, which was our indicator. We're going to go ahead and start our left turn inbound. Well, there it is. There's the RMI enjoyment of flying an RMI DME ARC. And the winds are really, really kicking here. As you see, we're already blown through the course a bit. So I'm going to continue my left turn to re-intercept that. We're also going to descend down to 3,000. We see that the glide slope, the vertical guidance is alive. We do have LP plus V. And there is, we have a quartering tailwind, so that's going to push us back into course. So I'm going to take out some of that correction. Going to shoot this approach at about 90 knots. We are in IMC conditions still. And I'm getting a heck of a workout. I'm going to go ahead and, instead of going down there's 3,100, 331.60, just going to maintain altitude here. And I'm going to capture vertical guidance. Well, I don't think the wind's going to help me capture that CDI, so I'm going to go back and capture the CDI. Okay, don't want to go below 3,000. And you can see this is all hand flying. We briefed the approach. We're cleared for the approach. And let's go over to Unicom. And there it is, 122.7. Good for 90 knots, 0 flaps. IMC in the clouds. And it is really, really gusty. I'm getting pushed in. I'm going to need a higher rate of descent, probably about 600 once we're on vertical guidance, glide slope, whatever you want to call it. And if you ever want to be tested by your simulator, look for conditions like this. Put in real world weather. Try to find some shitty weather, or you can make it yourself. Glide slope's below us now. I'd rather be a little bit on the high side sometimes in unfamiliar areas. Reducing the power, increasing the rate of descent. Gas, undercarriage is down. Mixtures are forward. Props we don't have. We're on course. A little bit high. Now 0.8 to go to the final approach fix. I'm a little bit ahead of the airplane now because with these kind of conditions, I'm trying to get the airplane slowed down. Winds are now at 30. Glide slope still below us. That's okay. We're going to circle the land here. I think that's the runway in front of us. And that is just so crazy how quickly that changes. I'm trying to get 90 knots. Practice for perfection, or actually practice for precision. Take more power out. Glide slope's coming in. But it is blustery, and I'm sure it's going to calm down a little bit the lower we get. You can see my doghouse. The green thing is right on the approach end of the runway. Trying to get to 90 knots. Glide slope's coming in. Little nose up. I haven't even trimmed for 90 knots, so. Tailwind now, 26 knots. Course is to the right. A little bit high on glide slope. Trying to get down to 90. Pretty good on course here. I'm still primarily in IMC conditions, although on my side views you can see it's coming in here. Let's go ahead and turn those off for now. On glide slope, a little low, a little fast. Everything's on, lights, steer, gear. Looking good. 4 miles to go. Now we broke out, and I do have the airport in sight. And we could probably bring that down a little bit. The winds keep changing. I'm a little bit left of course. Let's go ahead and make that. There's my 90. A little bit ice look just below us. I'm getting a workout here, folks. If you're still with me, God bless you. Traffic pattern altitude at this airport is going to be approximately 1,400 feet, really. Let's see what the airport elevation is again. Yeah, 400 feet. So let's just call it 1,300 feet for our circling. And airport's in sight. Let's bring the power back up. I'm going to go ahead and turn this one back into its place. We've communicated with Queen City Airport. I'm going to go ahead and turn on a right seat, that way we can see the airports, and a left seat. Oh, that nestled screen is blocking the view of the runway, but let's see if I can get that in view here for us. Right here is the airport. We'll do a right downwind for runway 25 and bring her back in. Maybe we'll see that on the right nestled screen right here. And Queen City traffic, Cessna, blah blah blah. Oh, there it is. 172 Sierra Papa's entering a 45 for the left downwind, runway 25 full stop, Queen City. Okay, gas is on, undercarriage is down, fixed. Landing lights on, communications done. I'm gonna put my strobes on for now. Strobe lights are on. And you can see the airport there to the right hand side. Once again, I tried to keep things under 1 hour, but I failed. I'm at probably 1 hour and 17 minutes now. But that's the way it is in the real life. Again, this is just the only thing left on this is the circle to land and the landing, and I'll call it quits there. I won't give a debrief too much, but we can do that while we're flying here. And this is like part 5 of my series on all things DME. Kind of impromptu. We've done it with the 2 VORs. We've done it with the HSI. We've done it with the GPS. Now we're doing it with the RMI. The first video was building the DME ARC in Little Navmap. Or Little Navmap. So they were almost a beam to touchdown point. And get 250 on my tail. We can go 10 degrees flaps. Going to be seeking about 80 knots here, so that's going to be a new trim setting. Trim for airspeed. Trim off the control pressures, and then finally trim for your airspeed. We're going to have a little bit of a crosswind. I'm going to go ahead and turn in early because we're getting blown out. See how that works out. I'm running about 10 frames per second right now. I mean, that's, and I have an RTX 3080, but then again, I'm generating visuals on 4 screens at the same time. And Queen City traffic, November 2 Sierra Papa's right base for runway 25 full stop, Queen City. And I'm gonna lift my wing and see where we're at. Looking good. And Queen City traffic to November 2 Sierra Papa's turning final runway 25, Queen City. Yeah, it should be about 65 in here. I'm still a little high, so I'm going to head in. Okay, gas, undercarriage, mixture, props, everything's set. Queen City, November 2 Sierra Papa's turning final 25 now. Again. I have to do a little bit of a side slip in here to lose some altitude. Worked like a charm. I just did a video on forward slips for landing. The side slip we'd use in a crosswind landing. I prefer a crosswind or turn the nose into the wind and kind of come in at an angle and then go to a side slip for a landing. A little bit of a crosswind. There's where those brakes came in handy. I just pushed my toggle button. Both brakes came on at the same time. Okay, there you go. Thank you for hanging in there with me this whole time. I apologize again. We're at 123. I'm just going to turn off the runway here and then we're going to shut things down. So that's the RMI part number 5. Again, that's pretty raw. I just leave it as it is. I'm not going to go ahead and edit out too much. And there's a little bit of sloppy flying in there, but it kind of showed what the strong wind gradient can do. How much of a wind correction angle you need to keep, how you got to keep your instrument scan going, and I was able to show you how to fly back to the arc from the outside and fly back to the arc from the inside. And of course we're clear of the runway now, and let's just cross this taxiway and bring her to a stop. Thank you once again. I need some work with my landings, and I mentioned earlier there is a YouTube channel, and its title is Snail Mail 7, just like it says. A snail, S-N-A-I-L, and mail, M-A-L-E, number 7. Snail mail number 7. He's got some really great tips on how to flare an airplane and land that plane just as smooth as butter. And also he's got a lot of tips and tricks and techniques and some really cool add-ons that you can grow your flight simulation experience. So once again, I'm Steve from Flight Quest 40. Thank you again, and see you in the next one. Oh, that wiped me out.